Hey, what's going on, you guys? We are back with some Black Lightning. Okay, I've been gone for 2 weeks from this, but luckily for me, there was no episode last week, so I only missed one. God. Um, so if you saw my live streams earlier, then you know exactly what happened and why I haven't been around. So check out those videos if you have not done so already. It's just the first one explains why I've been gone. The second one was a little kiki session. We had talking a little bit about the mess going on with Camila and a little bit of what's been going on with like other people as well, and just having a good little time catching up with everybody. I liked seeing everybody out here, the people who follow me for Black Lightning, and as well as the people who follow me for everything else. So yeah, that was fun. Anyway, so we're getting into this, picking up right where episode 5 left off. Okay, so this is episode 6, 3 sevens, Book of Thunder. We are formally introduced to Thunder, and Black Lightning is also introduced to Thunder in this episode. In the last episode, we saw Anissa kind of gathering some information. She was trying to kind of figure out her powers in a way. She was trying to get into that. And then we also saw Black Lightning. You know, he was Jefferson. He was getting into some things too. He found out, you know, Tobias is still around. Well, he knows that Tobias is still around now, and he's in Freeland right now, and it's like he is kind of now on a one-track path, trying to figure out where he is and trying to intercept him so that he can ultimately defeat him. And it kind of grows and grows over the course of the last episode. And then the final part of the last episode, he meets up with Joey Toledo, who is one of his like henchmen, one of his right-hand men, and they get into a fight. But at the same time, you know, Jeff, his powers are kind of going haywire, and we find out in this episode is because his suit, you know, his suit is designed to kind of resist all of the energy that he discharges, so that way it doesn't have an adverse effect on him. You know, when you're like, you know, charging energy and stuff, all of that energy, all of the drawback has to go somewhere, and so the suit allows for it to kind of put in some resistance there, but the suit kind of malfunctioned in a way when he just, you know, he dispersed a lot of energy, and it kind of just drew back and kind of caused his mind to kind of go like kind of cause issues with his mind, with his brain, and his powers are, you know, almost completely neurological. So any issues with his mind, any issues with his brain, his mindset, his mental state, and his powers can kind of go that way again. And that's what Gambi tells him. Now, you know, in the beginning, you know, Jeff, he's waking up while he's trying to get up and stuff, and there is this anonymous call to the police, and then they go and try to find where he is. Luckily, Gambi is always kind of there. Gambi, he gets him before the cops can get to him. Now, you know, the inspector, he goes and he was like questioning one of the other officers about where he got this tip that Black Lightning was out there. And, you know, the cop was like, oh, hold on, I had to take this. And you see that the phone says incoming call from JT. Who do we know with the initials JT? Joey Toledo. So Joey is the one who tipped off the police. This is how we're seeing already. We're seeing, again, just how involved with the police and with the political system, with the entire justice system, that Tobias actually does. He has a lot of pull. Going into the issue with Jeff and Lynn, okay, so while this is all going on with them trying to figure out what's wrong with his powers, and Lynn, you know, she's there running tests as well. She's beyond fed up, okay? She doesn't want anything to do with all of this crusading that's going on. Again, she just doesn't want it. She doesn't want to see him hurt, and it hurts her to see him getting hurt. And he tries to explain, you know, I'm trying to go after him because he killed my father and all of this stuff. And she wants him to go about it a different way. Maybe that's what she's trying to get him to do, but he's just not really listening to that kind of reasoning. Also in this episode, Anissa, you know, she is, you know, she's still doing her research and stuff, still being a freedom fighter. Okay, she gets arrested again for her and a couple of other people, they came to this monument, this statue in town, and they they shot it with paint with the. She gets she gets arrested again, and Jeff is like going in on her, honestly, telling her that she needs to be smarter about, like, her battles. She needs to choose her battles more wisely and all this stuff. But she's gonna do whatever she wants to do anyway. It's Anissa. It is what it is. At this point, he really should not even just. He shouldn't be surprised at all. He really shouldn't be. And at the same time, she's still decoding her powers. So she's still looking at all these videos and everything, and she has this information. She even takes some of it to Lynn and asks her, to help her, kind of do some research on it, to run the scans a little bit so she can kind of cross reference and see who has the same kind of who has had the same kind of readings and stuff. So just to do a little bit more investigation that she can't do with her own resources. Jeff is kind of questioning Gambi, and I've been saying this for a minute because Gambi is somebody who's very mysterious at this point. He used to be kind of like that guy. I was like, oh wow, he's like really, really supportive and stuff. But then you gotta have to wonder why he's so supportive and why he's going so hard for Black Lightning to be like this big monument of hope and peace and justice and stuff. And so in this episode, we do find out a little bit more about, kind of why he's kind of done the things that he's done so far and up until now. Jeff is kind of questioning his loyalties because Jeff wants to kill Tobias, but Gambi is trying to get him to see like, oh, you don't have to kill him, or killing him is going to make it like really difficult for you to move on, and it's not going to really fix anything. It's not going to bring him back, and all this stuff that he's trying to tell him. And Jeff is just not hearing it. He wants to go and he wants to kill him. He wants to get revenge. Gambi opposes it, and he goes and even seeks Lynn's help, but she denies him, obviously, because she's tried to tell them before. He's the one who wanted to have Black Lightning back out there the most, so now you have to deal with the consequences, and that's what she said. I said the consequences, and that's what. Guys, I'm so tired. You guys don't know like how difficult it is for me to even get on camera, but I really want to continue to do this because I like doing it. But I'm like really starting to get like really like sleepy eyed and stuff. But I'm gonna continue to do it. Bear with me. Not too much longer. Jen, we'll talk about her for a second. Jennifer, she is dealing with the aftermath of all the crap that went on with that girl in the last episode. She beat her ass. Her and her friends. She didn't give a damn. They came up to her in that roller rink last episode, and they were trying to go in on her, calling her bougie and all this stuff, and she showed them what was up. I mean, she just said whap 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 and laid them both out on the floor. It didn't even matter. I was like, Lightning is gonna be that girl. She's gonna be that girl. I'm gonna love when she actually discovers her powers. But anyway, moving on. I need to get me a Black Lightning t-shirt. Like, I'm working on getting one of those because I hate just like it's still DC, but it's not the right hero. Not the right shade of black. Yeah. So So she's dealing with a lot of the aftermath of that. She's being kind of cyberbullied by the girl. The girl is like sending all these messages out there talking about she is, she's a wannabe white girl, a Becky. She wears all this like weave and stuff and tries to be white, but she's really black, and she has all of this. She has nappy head under it. And we actually see, the vice principal comes up to Jeff and shows a post from none other than Khalil, who's supposed to be the boyfriend, we thought, but he posts something up there, and it was like something about her, it was like her face, it was like posted onto some white girl dancing or something, and it's like dances like a white girl but has nappy hair and all this stuff. And it was shocking to me, especially because he's like he's the one who wanted to be with her in the first place, he's the one who asked her out. So to me, I'm just like, what in the world is going on? And then I had to think about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know what? Tobias got into his head, put all of this crap into his head, and now it's starting to take effect. And we see it in this episode especially. So Jen, she's in the gym where he usually would work out. Obviously, he's not doing it right now, but he went. She went to the gym, and Jeff comes in there, has a little talk with her and stuff, and more so than the girl trying to bully her, which it backfired anyway because we're in this big discussion now about good hair versus you know unkempt hair and the whole good hair movement. It became a bigger topic, about what it means to have good hair. And you can't just call out somebody if their hair does not look like, you know if your hair doesn't look like Veronica's over there. I mean, it doesn't mean that your hair is not good hair. It just means you have a different type of hair, different texture of hair, and the hair is still beautiful. Hair is hair. And then that whole thing kind of just backfired on her anyway. But it was more so Khalil and his comments that really made her like, you know, beat herself up on the inside, and she really wanted to go and see him. So she goes and sees him, and it's not really what she thought it was going to be. He blames her for what happened to him because, he said, if it wasn't for you taking me to that march, I wouldn't have been shot and I would be still able to walk and stuff. And so, she doesn't know what to do. And so she just has no choice but to just leave him. And Jeff did say beforehand that she should wait and give him some time, some space, but it really wouldn't have worked out because Tobias is in his ear, and he has a way of getting people to do what he wants them to do, and he has a way of kind of just getting into somebody's psyche. He has a way with words and a way with persuasion. And it's kind of, you can kind of see it, especially now with this case with Khalil. I hope something turns around for it. Um, but yeah, so they see this on the news. There's some stuff going on, and they're talking about the monument and how there was this big uproar now with the monument and the people who were protesting getting attacked by white nationalists and stuff. And it reminded me of the Charlottesville situation, of course, and that was over a monument and statue of Robert E. Lee. Like that was over that. Um, and so that we see the same situation that mirrors it. They literally did that because it mirrors it. And unfortunately, one of the girls that was there standing next to Anissa, she was run over by a car, similar to the woman who was run down by a car by one of the neo-Nazis. I don't know why I put that in quotes. That's what they are. But yeah, so we see that happening, and then once that happens, Anissa, she goes back to that monument as Thunder. Um, I like the outfit, but it's not her. Like it's not for the kind of hero that she is. I feel like that it's too bright. It should be a little bit darker and edgier. But anyway, that's just my own like little. But so she goes back to the scene and she stomps the ground, destroys the monument, and that's how it is. That's how that ends. She didn't waste any time at all. Um, Okay, so Jeff, he's going to intercept. Now he went to see a doctor that specializes in patients with albinism, and obviously Tobias goes to him. He's an albino, so there's a lot of like extra issues that albino people go through, psoriasis and all this stuff. And so he goes and he talks to the doctor and tries to get him to bring Tobias into the office in order to intercept him and ultimately defeat him. So the doctor actually agrees to do it, and he says that he called him in later on. And obviously, Jeff goes and he tries to intercept, but he's talked out of it by Lynn, and of course, her lab being broken into. He hears that from the other end, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?" She's like, "Somebody broke in." Now, earlier on, she was called by Anissa, and Anissa told her that she had something to talk to her about. At the same time, Lynn also wanted to talk to her about the results that about what she discovered from the info that she brought her, from the samples, the scans that she brought to her. So Anissa Anissa gets there after the place is broken into. Lynn is tied up and stuff by these goons. I don't know. They were just some random guys. At first, I thought they were just some random guys. Uh, and Anissa gets there and beats them down, and they run off. And at the same time, Anissa's like Lynn is like looking at like, oh my gosh, this is my daughter, and she sees her display of power. Like she literally is able to deflect bullets and stuff, and like throw them across the room and stuff. Um, and then we get this really really cool scene. I mean, it wasn't that cool, but it was like great to see Black Lightning and Thunder face off. She held her own for a second, but then she couldn't really withstand. He has a lot more experience in the field than she does, obviously. So he takes her down, but then realizes it's actually Anissa, and then they take her away. Um, Gamby, he goes to see Lady Eve, and this one of the last scenes. Gamby goes to see Lady Eve, and she's doing her thing with the undertaking. It's so creepy. It's so creepy. Oh gosh. So it was her guards that went to Lynn's lab to get some information. She's apparently, getting into things that she has no business getting into, and Lady Eve wants it to stop. Gamby, mentioned some things like, she first of all, Lady Eve was like, well, Gamby, how did you get past my security? And he's like, well, I taught you everything you know, but not everything I know. So apparently, Gamby was working with Lady Eve and probably Tobias at one point, and it really again brings his loyalties into question and kind of just you want to know more because you only touch the surface every single time we're about to get some more information about Gamby. It's just like they like cut it there and they don't want us to know too much yet. I get that feeling already, but hopefully we get more of Gamby because it would be interesting to see exactly what he has, like what kind of past he has with Lady Eve and especially with Tobias. So yeah, that's how that scene and they kind of had a deal. She would stay away from the Pierces if he stayed away from Tobias, and it's kind of like the lines are becoming a lot like very blurred now because of course Anissa's getting into things and Black Lightning's getting into things, and Tobias is trying to get rid of Black Lightning, and it all is like this never-ending cycle that's going on right now, and it's really difficult for Gamby and for Lady Eve to stay out of each other's way when everybody that they're working with are so intertwined. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, last scene, Anissa wakes up to see her mom, and then she turns and sees Jeff in the Black Lightning suit. And then that's how it ends. I hate cliffhangers like that. So irritating. But we're gonna pick off from what we're left off next week, and hopefully, we get a little something. I saw the preview for the next episode. Obviously, Anissa is going to be very, very motivated to want to go and fight crime with her daddy, but he's obviously not going to let a lot. Well, maybe he will. I don't know. It seemed like she was trying to get him to train her. We'll see how that goes. He's probably not going to want to do it though. He's probably not going to want to do it. Um, but he might want to do it just because both of them together fighting for the same cause. I feel like he might want to do it. Anyway, that's gonna be it again. Look for some more videos coming up to you guys tomorrow or at some point. I don't even know when it's gonna come. But anyway, I hope everybody has a great night. Take care, you guys.